So I prophesied, just as he commanded. The breath entered them. They came alive. They stood up on their feet, a huge army. Preachers, preach what God tells you to say. Businessmen do business. Prophets prophesy. When you do what you're called to do, the wind will blow. When I do my gift, the wind blows. When I do what tradition obligates me to do, nothing happens. Life comes from being obedient. Say what he's told you to say. Who are these dry bones? They're the ones without hope. They're being cut off. They're the slain. People get slain by all kinds of things in life. When we first started our church in New Zealand, I was 23 years old. And a little English woman came to Jesus. Amazing little lady. Only about this tall. Her husband's name was John. I said, can we go see your husband? Went around to see her husband, John. I said, hey, John, how are you? He was smoking a cigarette. I'm okay. You're the pastor. I said, yeah, I'm the pastor's wife, you know. I got no time for church. He's sort of spluttering and hoiking and clearing his throat. There wasn't, I stood back because I was not getting the news, I was getting the weather. And I said, John, what's your story? He says, oh, I don't want God, I don't want Jesus or anything like that. I only want one thing in life. I said, what's that? He says, I want to kill someone. I said, what? Why do you want to do that? So he started to tell me, well, a few years ago, I wanted to retire. I hired a manager and made him a partner with me, but I didn't check out his financial details. Sometimes just go into a whisper. And then I found out he was a bankrupt, and as soon as he was my partner, all the creditors swooped in and they took everything I'd worked for in my life. Took my home, took my boat, took all my superannuation, all my savings. And now I'm 67. And all I want to do is shoot. I've got to tell my wife, I've got a gun behind the mirror in the front room. If I see him coming by, I will shoot him. I don't care if I die. I don't care if I go to prison. I just think about him every night. Because over and over in my mind, if I'm going to pray any prayer, it's that he walks in front of me on the road while I'm driving, so I can run him over. I said, wow, John, this is pretty serious, right? I talked to him about Jesus. Subject of forgiveness, somehow got married, ain't gonna happen. I took some time, I kept talking to him about the gospel. You know, eventually, I managed to get him to say a prayer. Very simple prayers, like, dear Jesus, come into my life. Can you do that much, John? That's all you ought to do. Invite him in. He will come in. He even goes to weddings if he's invited. He'll go anywhere. Wedding parties. So he said the prayer. I rang him up the next morning and said, how are you, John? He said, well, Pastor, I've got to tell you, I'm actually feeling okay. I said, man, you're not wheezy. He was like that yesterday. Today he's talking clear. So you're not wheezy. I said, yeah, I know, it's gone. I can breathe. He's breathing deep. He said, I can breathe deep. He said, that's not the greatest miracle. The greatest miracle is that every night I'd go to bed, I'd think about this guy in my brain. I was completely obsessed, completely fixated on him. Think about how I could kill him for ruining my life at such a late stage of life. But last night, it was like I had him in a cage in my heart. Every night I'd take him out and I'd take out the little man and stab him. And put him back in the cage, put the cage back in my heart. So last night I took the cage out and I opened the gate and I took him out and I let him go. I said, I'm not going to hold anything against you anymore. Unforgiveness is just one of the most horrifying things you can ever have in your life. And it's at the key of the gospel. These people who are bones in a valley, it says they were cut off, they were slain, and they were without hope. These are the people. They were slain by hopelessness. They were slain by terminal disease. They were slain with lifetime illness. They're slain by dead marriages. They're slain through their family breaking down. They're slain with anxiety. They were slain by depression. They were slain by suicide. They were slain by debt. Slain by child abuse. Slain with overwhelming financial problems. Slain with guilt. They were slain with drug addiction. They were slain with alcoholism. Slain with porn addiction. Slain with curses. Slain with violence. Slain with hatred. Slain with disorders. Slain with migraines. Slain with a criminal past. They were slain with rejection. Slain with betrayal. And like John, he was living a life that was a dead life. All he was thinking about was how to take another life because his had already gone. And when Jesus came into his world, things began to change. But before that unforgiveness had taken a grip of his breathing. It had taken a grip of the very thing that keeps you alive. Unforgiveness will choke you. It will take the life out of you till you die. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and breath came into them, and they lived. They lived. They lived and stood up. They stood up healed of unforgiveness. They stood up healed of terminal diseases. They stood up healed of cancer. They stood up healed of lifetime sickness. They stood up and healed marriages. They stood up and healed families. They stood up free from anxiety. They stood up free from depression. They stood up free from suicide. They stood up with a power to be debt free. They stood up as victims, not victims. They stood up healed from child abuse. They stood up free from guilt. They stood up free from drug addiction. They stood up free from alcoholism. They stood up free from porn. They stood up free from cursing.